Well, good evening and welcome to our movie night. I hope that you enjoy the show. But before the show begins, let's have a brief devotion. When I thought about this devotion, I thought back to all the stories my parents told me about when they were kids. Back then, they did not have television. And so if they wanted some visual entertainment, they had to go to the movie house. And they always went on a Saturday morning. For about 10 cents, they could see 2 feature films, a couple cartoons, and a movie serial. Well, what's a movie serial? Well, this is a movie that was done in episodes, usually 12 to 16 episodes. In fact, back here, you see a picture of one of the great serials, Flash Gordon's Trip to Mars. Now, these serials were in episodes, and every episode ended in a cliffhanger. What's a cliffhanger? Well, that's a situation in which the hero or heroine finds themselves facing death and they don't have a clue as to how to save themselves. That's one of the reasons it's called a cliffhanger. Is think of hanging on by your fingers over a cliff. If you lose your grip, you fall to your death. Well, that's the type of situation these heroes and heroines would always find themselves at the very end of the episode. And so, here you have our hero, perhaps tied up in a car. The car is stalled on a railroad tracks and a train is headed straight for him. And that's when the episode would end. So you would have to come back next week to find out how the hero or heroine got out of that death-defying situation. And that's how those episodes went. They get rescued, they fight evil, they get into a cliffhanger, come back next week. Of course, in the last episode, the hero or the heroine, Flash Gordon, defeats the villain and saves the day. I often think that life is like an old-time movie serial. We sometimes find ourselves in cliffhangers. Perhaps not facing death, of course, but perhaps we're sick and we just don't know when we're going to get well. Or perhaps dad or mom loses their job and they don't know where they're going to find their next place of employment. Or perhaps something horrible like a fire burns down your house and you don't know where you're going to live. Those are the cliffhangers of life. And sometimes they're not that big, if you will. Sometimes the cliffhangers could be, I don't know if I'm going to pass second or third or fourth grade this year. I'm doing bad. Or I don't know how I'm going to get any more friends. I don't know how to make friends, and I have none. Those too are cliffhangers of life. But you know, God does give us hope. St. Paul writes in 1 Corinthians, "No temptation has seized you except what is common to man, and God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, He will also provide a way out so that you can stand up under it." When we face the cliffhangers of our life, we don't need to be heroes ourselves, for we have a hero, Jesus our Savior. He will save us from our cliffhangers. After all, He has already defeated our great villains, sin, death, the devil. He defeated them on Easter morning. And so we know how the story will end. They will be defeated, and our hero, Christ, will save us and the day and bring us to everlasting life. Trust in Him in all the cliffhangers of life. Well, enjoy the movie. And I hope there's plenty of cliffhangers in those movies to keep you on your seats. And please, save some popcorn for me.
I like making the cross with hearts that say, "My heart is bursting from Jesus." My favorite things that I do are the art crafts because are pretty and they are fun and they help you learn more something. The plant ones that they gotta use some nature and you gotta plant a seed and see how it grows. When we made the plants for Mother's Day for our moms, every day we went to C2C, we watered them. Went around the desk and then blew horns.
When we made a giant sundae. Yes, we got to eat it after we made it.
The food experiment that we did where you had to combine other foods, but you didn't get a choice of what foods you combined. Like it could have been like marshmallows and cheese or pretzels and Jello, and it was to show you that you always don't really get your way and that God always has a plan.
Doing the projects there. I like doing the projects. Well, I know a chapter in the Bible I like, but I don't have a favorite story. Luke. Guy once stopped and when he saw the hurt man by the road because the other people passed by, but the last guy helped the person. Well, everybody said not Luke, and like how he calms the waves.
Noah's Ark. Because there was a flood for 40 days. When God put out the rainbow, that reminds me of his promise that he'll never make the whole world flood again.
My favorite Bible story is when Jesus was born. The part when Mary gave birth and there was a big star over the little stable. Jesus dying on the cross. The farmer planted the seeds. Then he got the right spot. Then a flower growing. You should be a good Samaritan. And if you're a good Samaritan, you can give food to others, like a good Samaritan does, just like in the Bible. How to be like Jesus, read the Bible and study it and be nice to others.
Definitely learned a lot about loving and caring for each other.
You should be nice to people even though they're mean to you.
In C2C, the Good Samaritan teaches you just because other people aren't standing up for somebody or being nice to somebody and just passing by, that you can still help them and you should still help them.
I feel excited to come to C2C because of all the kids that you get to see, and then I help a lot and it's just really fun to interact with everyone.
I feel really good because number one, we get to learn about God, but we also get to do activities while we're doing that help us to learn about God. I feel happy because then you get to see all your friends and then do cool activities.
I'm excited because we can do fun things.
And now, our feature presentation.